Good afternoon. I want to talk to you about week 2 in this class. So I'm still using Adobe Connect. We're going to see if I can make the screen a little less cluttered than last week. So I just wanted to give you a short overview of what's going on this week. So the first thing is we're going to start using the textbook, and you're going to read chapter 1 of Asking the Right Questions. Remember that you need to have the 11th edition. You will also be working through what I'm going to call an introduction to academic research. There's about 3 or 4 videos plus like a web page to read and then a tutorial to work through that are on topics like moving into discipline-specific research, the information cycle, more information about peer review, scholarly versus popular materials, and then the knowledge cycle, which is similar to the information cycle. And then I want you to complete a background survey in which you give me some information around the types of tools that you have at home, maybe smartphone, tablet, computer, printer, the tools that you're familiar using with, like Twitter and Tumblr and that sort of stuff, and maybe some of your learning preferences, like if you work in a group, do you prefer to take charge, do you prefer to be just a good team member? And then this is the week where you will start to participate in the weekly discussions. So I have put you into groups. There are 5 groups of 4 and 1 group of 5. The who's in which group is listed in the content area of D2L. If I have set everything up correctly, when you log in to look at the discussion, you will only see your group's topic. The discussion forum has the questions that you are to respond to. You only need to pick one. I repeat, just one question to respond to. Post it as a new thread in your group topic, and then you'll be able to see what else other people have posted. The discussion forum will run Tuesday through Sunday. Monday is a discussion-free zone. That gives you at least one day where you can I can really concentrate on reading, or basically you don't have to oh my gosh, I got to get in there and read and see what everybody else is saying about this topic. So I want to go back for a minute here and talk a little bit about the discussion, why we're doing the discussions. So obviously we're not meeting in person, so it's hard to do a real-time discussion. And one of the things about critical thinking is in order to improve your critical thinking, you have to practice your critical thinking. And so the discussion is one way to do that. It's practicing your critical thinking skill of presenting an argument around whatever the discussion topic is. The journals will also give you that too, except they're sort of just explaining it to yourself in a way. And those start next week. So when I think about critical thinking, I think there are some particular habits of mind that a critical thinker has. Someone that is open to new ideas, but they have a reasonable amount of skepticism about them. So they don't just take it at face value. They kind of have a neutral stance, and then they find out more information, and then they make up their minds about the idea. You have to become aware of any biases that you have or assumptions that you have that are coloring your thinking on a topic. And this is probably the hardest for most of us, is to sort of step outside yourself and think, I got to realize that this is a topic that I'm just I can't think clearly about it for whatever reason. It's just I have a lot of emotions around it. You want to continually search for alternative interpretations and perspectives. So, for example, it's the political season is upon us, and if you're a Republican, you want to see what Democrats think about topics, say gun rights or abortion, and vice versa. And maybe you want to see what people that aren't Democrats and Republicans think about those topics, because there are other things going on in our country besides those two parties. Later on in this semester, we'll be focusing in heavily on evaluating evidence, and so I think it's chapters 8 and 9. There's 2 chapters in the book later on that talk about really the types of evidence and how to evaluate them. A critical thinker is comfortable with ambiguity. They understand things are complex. They understand things can't be simplified down into this or that. example I just gave you is there's more than just Democrats and Republicans in the country. Green Party, socialists, you might say libertarians, whatever you might think. There's different groups of people. There's not just two. And critical thinkers realize that often there is just not a right answer to some of these issues. There's the answer that's better for you, but it isn't necessarily the right answer for everyone. And so the name of the book is Asking the Right Questions. And the questions are powerful because they will let you ask about topics that you don't even really know about, which is key for those of you that are really early in your college career at St. Cloud State, because you're going to pick a major and you're going to take the first class in the major, you're going to be like, what the heck are they talking about? But you're going to have some skills that allow you to ask questions even though you don't know the topic, and you can keep learning about it. Critical thinking is about moving a conversation forward. It's not about tearing down the idea of another person, though you need to be aware that when you ask people questions, a lot of times people aren't used to that. They're like, what, you're paying attention? You're asking me a question? And they might get annoyed and be defensive. You're trying to expand the conversation. So instead of, like saying, well, why did you do that? Say, hey, tell me more about this. I mean, I use that question a lot. I reviewed some resumes for some people that were just graduating from library school, and I was looking at their resumes this last weekend, and I was like, that's exactly the question I used. It was, hey, tell me more about this item here where you said you worked as a shelver in a library, or you rearranged some shelves or something. I said, tell me more about that. So that's the kind of questions that are powerful. So that's just a brief overview for week 2, and looking forward to seeing what you guys say about the discussions.